Now on to the regular scheduled news for the day. The former FBI director pleaded not guilty to 2 federal charges in a Virginia courthouse today. That's James Comey, and his defense attorney said they will argue the case should be quickly dismissed, calling the indictment a case of vindictive and selective prosecution. To break down the legal arguments, we're joined by CBS legal contributor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, thank you for joining us on this rock'em sock'em moment of breaking news. So, what does Comey need to prove that this case should be just thrown out before it even gets to the arguments?
So he's bringing 2 big motions in order to try and get this case tossed out. You just mentioned one of them, which is based on the idea that he is the victim of selective prosecution, which is based on an equal protection clause argument, and or vindictive prosecution, which is based on a due process clause argument. Very briefly, vindictive prosecution requires that a defendant show that a prosecutor acted with animus or malice based on that defendant trying to exercise a protected legal right, something that's protected under the Constitution or a statute. What's the typical case? The typical case is when you say, I want to appeal, or I want a new trial, or I don't agree to that plea deal, and then the prosecutor adds on additional charges.
What also, Comey's team is challenging the prosecutor in this case. What are the grounds for that challenge?
This is a fascinating argument. They're saying that Lindsay Halligan was not properly appointed to be the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. As a result, she didn't have the authority to bring this indictment. Let's remember, she was the only one to sign the indictment, and therefore the remedy would be to toss out the indictment. But because we just passed the statute of limitations, if this were successful, it would mean that the Department of Justice basically can't cure, that they can't refile. Again, very briefly, this argument is based on the idea that Lindsay Halligan had a predecessor, Eric Seabart, for, again, the Eastern District of Virginia, that he served one of these 120-day terms, and that he was then reappointed by district court judges. And the argument by Comey is that you cannot, as the Attorney General, continue to appoint people to these 120-day stints, essentially, as U.S. attorneys.